Hey everybody, and welcome to tonight's edition of the Divine Feminine Oracle. And of course, I'm Julie from Maison Jupiter. I'll be your host for tonight, and I have two beautiful, wonderful high priestesses for tonight's shows, or today if you're in Australia, like Sol is. So I have the beautiful Meg. Hi, Meg Moonbeam. How are you? And welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you. I'm very good, very excited and grateful to be with you, Soul Sisters, today and excited for this show. How are you doing, Julie?
Very good. Strange energies, those. I can't wait to talk about those energies with you. We're having a lot of retrograde stuff happening, so I can't wait to share that with you guys. But otherwise, doing good and happy to see you, Soul. How are you? And welcome to the show, Soul.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so lovely to see you girls and just to be amongst your energy and the whole Beyond Mystic family too. Thank you.
And welcome everybody joining us for tonight's show. Hi to everybody in the chat. We'll try to put your comments on the screen. And I just wanted to say a very happy solar return to you, Sol. I know it was a couple of days ago. So very happy birthday and solar return to you.
Thank you.
I hope you had a nice day, a nice time, and a manifestation ritual of some kind. Did you do something special for your birthday?
Yeah, so it was being a Leo, we tend to have a birthday week, and I have a few girlfriends that are also Leo. So we kind of stretched it out. So we went and had a spa day over the weekend, which was just amazing, sitting in the hot springs. And yeah, it just makes you think, when you make the effort to book yourself in to go do something like that, just how you should be doing it regularly. So a couple of us are thinking we should do it regularly, but yeah, had amazing manifestation, and I just feel like the whole month has been my birthday. So
I love that.
Incredible. Oh, and it's also astrologically, I think there's an age, you girls would probably know, but like from 42 to 43. Thank you, Vicky. So there was something that I was finishing off. I'm not sure if it was something square, like Saturn square or Pluto energy, but turning 43, I just feel like this energy this whole year is completely different.
Oh, wow. I'm not exactly sure, but I heard a lot of times that at 42 is when your nodes get like more mature, and your Saturn matures also. So like it brings good rewards from karmic rewards, and also from your life mission, you get like a big push from the universe, apparently.
That's what's happening. Yeah.
Yay.
Wonderful.
Yeah, you had a beautiful launch, so very happy about that. We got lots of birthday wishes for you. I'm gonna put
Thank
those
you, everyone.
on. And I feel I'm just like you. I'm a Leo rising, and I feel like my birthday is always like a festival. It's not only one day. Usually, my friends are like, "Oh my god, it's gonna last so long." So maybe it's a Leo thing. I love that. So right before we get into tonight's show, which will be about the Virgo season that we're about to enter tomorrow, and also the very famous Mercury retrograde, which starts tomorrow exactly, also at the same time as we're stepping into Virgo season. So we're going to talk about that. And also I want to know about the Venus retrograde stuff. So did you guys feel something special? Let us know in the chat or in the comments how you're handling this Venus retrograde transit as well. And right before we dive into that content, I just wanted to remember that if you would like to book a one-on-one consultation with one of our wonderful oracle ladies, you can do so on maisonjupiter.com. So we have Sophie, Meg, Kristen, and now Sol right here. So we have the mystical oracle reading with Sol, and also the star seed reading with Sol, and of course the birth chart reading with Meg, and the 1 year personal forecast with Meg. And for all those consultations, don't forget to enter Beyond Mystic in one word to get 10% off. Okay, and right, also I had another thing to share with you before also we dive into our content for today. And yes, don't forget to like this video on Maison Jupiter and subscribe. We're almost at 11,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, everybody. And if you are also watching from the Beyond Mystic side, don't forget to give this video a like. And disclaimer, I feel like I'm going to butcher so many words tonight because of that Mercury retrograde. So I feel like I'm going to be forgiven already because I have a good excuse for tonight's show. And this is the one I wanted to share with you. So we have a beautiful promo from the wonderful Carla, who's been providing us for so many pyramids for all these wonderful Divine Feminine Oracle shows. So she has a very special promo. Let's hear what she has to say.
Hi everyone, I'm Carla from Ascension Orgonites. I hope you're doing great today. So I thought I would announce a new sale that I'm going to be running from today all the way to August 31st. It is for the Archangels collection. So as you know, I've been working on a collection for each of the Archangels. So each piece that you see here has specific colors and crystals that will help you call the energy of the Archangel, work with them. So if you're familiar with the Archangels, that'd be great. But even if you're not, they're amazing pieces. Each of them have their own properties and also purposes. So as part of the collection, we have the very popular Archangel Michael, which is the leader, the guardian. We have Archangel Raphael, which is the healer. We have Archangel Gabriel, which is the messenger, the truth of God. We have Archangel Uriel, which is the Archangel of Wisdom. We have Archangel Metatron, which is the guardian of the Akashic Records and the Tree of Life. We have Archangel Chamuel, which is the Archangel of Beauty and Relationships. We have Archangel Jophiel, which is the Archangel of Happiness and Joy. And we have Archangel Zadkiel, which is the Archangel of Mercy and Surrender. So I hope you all take advantage of this sale. Like I mentioned, it'll be running from today to August 31st. There are 2 coupon codes that you can use. When you use coupon code Archangels15, you will receive 15% off 1 pyramid. And when you use coupon code Archangels20, you will get 20% off if you purchase 2 or more. Again, I want to thank you so much for your love, your support, for being part of this beautiful Beyond Mystic family and community. Don't forget to check out the Beyond Mystic channel, where JC and the beautiful ladies are putting out new content every single day. Also the Beyond Mystic Academy, the courses, the activations by May Levy, the meditations by Elena. So there's a ton of things to do and check out. Again, I hope you have an amazing week, an amazing rest of the month. And I'll speak to you very, very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Carla. Wow. Okay. I'm trying to do 3 things at the same time. Thank you so much, Carla. Love you. And also for one of you lucky subscribers for tonight's show, we're going to have a beautiful candle from Elena at Maison Jupiter. So this, for tonight's show, it's going to be the fire candle, the Beyond Mystic fire candle. So it's a tiger eye that's infused in there. And the fragrance is tobacco vanilla. So it's a very warm, sweet scent. Very, very nice. And so there's going to be 1 fire candle to really ignite your passion and motivation for life and all sorts of projects. Okay, so what did I want to say here? I wanted to start with what we're feeling right now. And I know we spoke a little bit about it before going live. At the moment, we're having Venus retrograde that started. When did that start, Meg, again? Do you remember?
June? Wasn't it end of June or July? July.
Yeah. Okay, you're as bad as me. Good. Okay, so yeah, it's a total duration. I remember that of 40 days, and I know it's going to be until September 3rd. So that makes sense. End of July. So we're into this Venus retrograde, and as of tomorrow, we'll add to Venus retrograde the Mercury retrograde. So, and also lots of other planets that are also retrograde, but the ones that are near the Sun and the Earth are influencing us more than the outer planets. So I'd like to know, because usually Venus retrograde talks about, well, relationships is one of the big themes of Venus retrograde. So sometimes there's, let's say, miscommunications in relationship or stuff that we've swept under the carpet for a long time, and now it comes back in our faces for us to deal with it. A lot of relationship stuff, either romantic relationship stuff coming up for review, or in my case around me, I got a lot of friendship stuff coming up for review, and having like hard conversations to make sure that we're on the same page, and maybe we we had a lot of stuff that was unsaid in the past that was creating a lot of friction. So now, like, all of that energy is coming up to a peak energy. And of course, also other Venusian themes are stuff around finances. I said relationships. So I'd like to ask you both, first of all, how are you feeling with that Venus retrograde? And what's kind of the expectations versus reality of this Venus retrograde? I'll start with you, Meg. What can you share with us? How are you holding on to this Venus retrograde?
I'm holding on. I'm hanging in there as a Taurus rising. So I've been feeling personally as a Venus ruled person. If you have a intense Taurus placement or Libra placement in your astrology, this Venus retrograde can be impacting us a lot more. So I've been feeling more just tired overall. That's how I've been getting affected. But I've been noticing all around me people going through very intense relationship changes and realizations. And I was saying to Julie and Sol before we came on the live show that I was feeling like this Venus retrograde was going to be mostly about, fiery, uncontrollable attractions to people, which it is. And I've been hearing about that and seeing that. But I've been noticing a lot of people really reassessing their self-worth in their relationships and having epiphanies about where they really stand in a relationship and realizations that some things just are not working anymore. And I feel like this time with us being in retrograde city, like Tim said on there with the comment, that term I love to use as well. Yeah. It's so important to speak, to talk with people you trust about what's going on if there are red flags in relationships or there are things that just aren't sitting right. It can be really unhealthy when we keep that on the inside and that can fester and stir and we hold on to that. And Venus is about the enjoyments of life and pleasure. So it can actually be pleasurable to talk about what's going on, even though Venus isn't necessarily a planet of communication like Mercury is. I feel really strongly it's important to talk about what's going on in relationships. Even if they can be uncomfortable conversations, but speaking very, very clearly as we're about to enter a Mercury retrograde starting tomorrow. So yeah, I've been seeing a lot of relationship shifts, and this is going to be a theme, I think, for the whole next year and a half, with the North Node being in Aries and South Node being in Libra and us being in that relationship axis. So I feel like too, it's so many things happening at the same time right now. So many different really, really powerful transits. So if any of you soul family out there are ever feeling overwhelmed or, just a little spacey, it's normal because this is a lot of things happening at the same time. Pluto just starting his transit in Aquarius, even though he's back in Capricorn for the second last time, we're technically in the Pluto and Aquarius transit. And this retrograde city, which is a fun term that we like to use for when we've got a lot of planets retrograde, it's the first retrograde city we're having in the Pluto and Aquarius transit. And Aquarius rules weirdness, things being weird. And there's been some things happening the past few days and week that maybe we'll talk about, maybe we won't hear on YouTube, that have been very, very weird and coming out of nowhere that we may have thought we dealt with already.
Right.
But there's things from the past coming up. If you guys
get that's such a good point, like connecting that to stuff coming back from the past that we thought we dealt with. That's a good way of putting it. I like that because of what's coming up in the news right now, dealing with that 2020 situation, but also I feel like I've had blasts from the past situation also in people coming back or trying to come back into my life, and I was like, where the hell is that coming from? But also this conjunction that we had between the Sun and Venus, the Venus Cazimi, that was on the 19th of August, I believe. So a few days ago, we had the same conjunction that we had 4 years ago and 8 years ago in the sign of Leo. So also it's kind of looping into a situation that was there in our lives in August 2019 and then in August of 2015. So also, if you can look back what was happening in your life, Leo related probably. So children, fun, romance, creativity, what else? Fun in general. So a lot of those situations are coming back for review. And that's interesting, Meg, that you were talking about those important conversation we should have with relationships, because Venus is a relationship planet, but also Leo is an expression sign. So I feel like you're totally on point when you say that there are conversations to be had, because we have stuff on our chest, on our heart, and Leo rules the heart. So we need to open up and get it out there in order for the relationships to be authentic and transparent. So that's what was happening with one of my group of friends. We had to meet and have like a real uneasy, uncomfortable conversation, because we've held things for so many years that it's like small little things that accumulated over the years, and each of us had like stuff, how can we say it, on our heart. Is that something I can say in English? I think I'm trying to translate from French, but anyways, but when you don't deal with it on the moment, it accumulates and you build resentment against those people. So basically, yeah, heart to heart convo. Thank you, JC. Usually JC's there to like whisper all the right words. Thank you so much. So yeah, we had this conversation, and I think it's a good thing, because I think when you do that, you give the chance to rebuild that bridge with those people that maybe you had some miscommunication, misunderstanding going on with. But I feel there's a lot of reevaluating in relationships in general. What about you, Sol? What can you share with us, either you, your clients, or also if you'd like to pull cards after? I might have a question or two for you.
Yeah, sure. So I have noticed, I think, especially being a Leo as well, with this Venus retrograde and things, and even, it's affected Taurus a lot too. So I've noticed, because in Vedic, my sign is Taurus. So I'm like, okay, I'm not escaping this Venus retrograde, no matter which system I'm looking into. But I feel kind of like a little bit more withdrawing at the moment. Like I feel so much is happening in public space and everything. So I kind of, going to the spa was perfect the other day. It was a really good, time just to, do that love, that self-nurturing. But I do find like with the Venus energy, because it is, to do with creativity, to do with beauty and things like that, that I found myself wanting to dance a lot more. So, some of the belly dancing's coming back in, which is really good. And just doing things of kind of like a self-care, so like self-nurturing nature, but also like really reassessing and reevaluating, just like on an introspective level, like what I want in life, what matters to me. And also really kind of like looking at the drama that's sort of happening around, and just seeing sort of like how I might be connected with things, and really kind of changing my belief systems and really like my core values and things. And I tend to notice when I work from within, the outward tends to change, or like the interactions change and things too. So I'm trying to be that still point. And Spirit the last 2 days has been showing me, and I came up with a client yesterday too, like a golden vortex. And we actually, the show that I did that was on, oh gosh, when was it? The Beyond Reality, the last one I just put up, Your Today.
Yeah.
So when I kept seeing this golden vortex of energy coming from the root chakra, like a tornado, cleansing and purifying all of the chakras and kind of like reconnecting us back to source. So we are getting a stabilization come through from spirit and from our higher selves and from God in the universe, to really kind of like give us that beautiful anchor to allow like the old debris and things. It's like a spring clean type energy. What I'm really seeing at the moment. But I am seeing, whether it's with myself or with friends, a lot of traumas are coming up. So as you were saying, like things resurfacing that have been sort of swept under the rug, it really is time to kind of air these things to spring clean. I guess advice-wise, for everyone to be super respectful and to really, come at conversations and things with love, because that's what, Venus is about too. But yeah, making sure to do like the other Venusian things. Like I've got flowers and things behind me at the moment, which were beautiful birthday gifts. But, having nice things around, like invite more of that beautiful Venus energy in. And also looking at coming up on Friday, which is the day of Venus, maybe doing even like a little self-care, self-love ritual to really kind of balance out the retrograde energy that we're having, just to, give yourself like a little bit of a pep up too. And you'll notice it just tends to restore and recharge. So yeah, I love working with planetary medicine.
I love that. And that's so funny you talk about Venus being the Venusian day, because Elena and I have been having this little ritual for the past weeks where every Friday there's a dance event outside of Montreal in the streets. And
Ah,
we used to reconnect with dance going to that Latin dance event. So it's so
that's
synchronous
cool.
we talk about this Venusian Venus Friday ritual. So I think I was right in that Leo energy. And I love also the term that you use, spring clean, because I feel like it's also bridging the Leo season with the Virgo season that we're about to experience as of tomorrow. And I was also going to bring up the fact that this spring clean from our bodies, our homes, our environment, our energy, I feel like it's very, very much needed with what's about to come with all the retrogrades. Wow. Thank you so much. Okay, Meg, I'd like to ask you a question. How do you see Venus retrograde plus Mercury retrograde at the same time? Because we're going to have both of them from August 23rd. So tomorrow, if you're watching this on the 22nd, to September 3rd. So for about, let's say, 10 days, 11 days, we're about to get both Venus and Mercury retrograde. How do you feel about that? What do you think it can bring to us personally and to the collective energy?
I feel like this is going to be a really sacred time, actually, where we're invited to go more within and to refill our cups. And I was feeling so strongly before we came on live today, Spirit saying that we need to fill ourselves up with, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, the summertime energies, and to not overextend ourselves out in terms of having to put things out there, having to do things for other people. It's really about reflecting and receiving. I think what you said, Julie, earlier was so true, that the inner planets, the planets closest to the Earth and the Sun, have a way bigger effect on us when they go retrograde than, personally, I believe, some astrologers may disagree, but the outer planets, because they're closer to us. And when they go retrograde, they come even closer to us. So I feel like, yes, there can be confusion because retrograde, it's not a planet moving direct. There can be funny situations coming forward, particularly in our love relationships and friendships, because Mercury rules friendships and our siblings. Right. But I'm just feeling intuitively this energy so strong as well, of filling ourselves up with the summer energies of the sun and fun and play, because I think this North Node in Aries is going to really kick in a few weeks from now when we get closer to the eclipses. And we're going to want to, if you have been in the Northern Hemisphere, fill yourself up with those loving summer energies. So I think it's very important to reflect, to spend some time going within, doing spa treatments. It's interesting that you both, I think, have brought that up. Doing things that are self-care practices, that can also be filling up our cup and our energy. Doing earthing, talking with friends, real conversations. I'm just feeling that really, really strongly, that a few weeks from now, it's going to be a really, really big shift. And we're going to want to have taken it easy the next 10 days, as you said.
So prepping up for eclipse season, changing season. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And Sol, before you were talking about this sort of upgrade, I don't know if we can call it that, but energetic upgrade that was happening at the moment, spring clean. Can you maybe pull cards on what's happening with our physical vessels at the time? What are we preparing for? What's the goal, the evolutionary goal at the moment?
Yeah. Oh, and there was something else I wanted to mention that's been going on since the Venus retrograde that I just remembered. So there's a lot of dreams that I'm having and experiencing, and some of my clients are as well, where we're in different timelines. So we're a whole different character in the dream world. There's a whole different family. There's different friendships, different connections, different jobs and all sorts of things. And I've had probably about 3 just in this last Venus retrograde. So I do feel that it's sort of a chance of whether it's other timelines that are kind of tapping in with us, or we're kind of like bumping, astral realms or something, or etheric realms. So that's something else I've noticed with the Venus retrograde. So I do feel that we can pull or draw upon these learning experiences or the dynamics that we see within the dreamscape. The other thing that I have had come up this probably the last week, and it's come up in a few client sessions too, is to do with all the stuff happening in Maui. We've had a lot of Atlantean past life stuffs resurfacing as well, or past life things resurfacing. But what Spirit's been showing me is it's really important for us to, in our sort of like creativity and imagination and meditation, to really do a visualization where we're connecting the etheric grids back into the crystals and into the ground, because there was a lot of grid disruption that happened with the thing that went down over there. We'll just say that. So yeah, this is all sort of like part of this retrograde too, like things that are really, connected to our hearts. We're really reassessing what happened in that other lifetime, and really sort of looking at how can we do things different. So I just wanted to mention that in connection with it too. But let's have a look at the cards.
Let's have a look. There's a lot of stuff going on for sure, and I love to bridge the connection with what's happening in the Earth's grid, but also with our physical vessels. So what are we here to learn? How can we connect better also?
Okay, so they're just giving me 4 cards, and I've just got these ones on my desk. So I'll just feel into these and see what we get. So this is interesting. What I'm actually seeing is 3 timelines stacked. And I'm seeing that we're sort of like vibrating on this timeline that's at the bottom right now. And then they're showing that there's 2 other frequencies or octaves. So what they're showing me, I'm seeing an angelic realm that's coming in above the 3rd frequency or the 3rd pathway or timeline. And what they're showing is that we need to come up sort of through this mud or through this sludge. I'm seeing a vision of a lotus as well. So through this mud, through this kind of like, I guess, lower density that we're in as well, we're also birthing this lotus. The other thing that I have had visions from over the last maybe month, Spirit keeps showing me like the lotus chakra with the root chakra. It's the Mercury retrograde. It's so funny. I've been feeling the language of it the last 2 days come in. But yeah, what else? And it's important what Shannon said with Lemuria as well. That's coming up a lot in sessions at the moment. Lemuria, Atlantis, tiny bit of Egyptian lifetimes too, connected to these grids. But what Spirit has been showing me is the lotus energy within the root chakra, and that sort of rising up with the sacral coming out of that, the solar plexus, and all of the other chakras. So I keep seeing it as these beautiful rainbow system of chakras, each one sort of birthing another one. So we have this higher energy that's trying to come out and be birthed out of these lower frequencies at the moment. So definitely frequency switching, really kind of tap into your energy, feel what it feels like at the moment, and tap into 2 octaves higher. So whether it's like picturing a different image or a different vibration, almost like a radio station, and just shifting into that higher frequency, that's going to help a lot of people to not get pulled into the drama, the craziness, the heaviness of the energy at the moment. It'll almost be like you've got your little life vest on or your floaties, and you're out in the ocean sort of bobbing around, the sea, the energy happening at the moment. So I'll just see what else Spirit is showing me. So yeah, I do see a lot of help coming in from the angelic realms and the galactic realms. And I've seen a couple of ships that have been cloaked in the clouds too. So we do have them sitting in the clouds, our galactic family, holding frequency whilst we're sort of transitioning through all of this. But we'll flip the cards over. And we have the card 7 of Wands, Valor, the Lust card, the 2 of Swords, and we have the Queen of Swords. So with this Valor, this is Leo and Mars energy as well. So it really is about sort of holding strong through this. I often see this sometimes as like the valor comes from like our spirit within. Traditionally, like in the Rider-Waite deck, we see it as the man with the wand, and he's sort of like trying to fight things off that are coming. And I was saying backstage to you girls as well, like with this retrograde, it's almost like putting a shield up before things can kind of hit. It's like you sense or you feel things coming in, but we sort of stay, I guess, detached to it. It's like loving detachment. We do see the Lust card coming up as well. And with this, we can see negative thought forms. We can see different voices, different opinions and things. She's got her higher self activated, and it's total Leo energy too. But we see that she's releasing this egg. So this is really trying to hold the fort down with these lower frequencies while we are birthing. So this is that sort of an exact analogy that Spirit was showing before we flipped the card about the multiple timelines and octaves. And we all know, like with an egg to do with fertility, that they magnetically attract the sperm as well. So it's not that we have to go and chase them. We have to do huge, like action outwardly. This is all about like the inward change, the inward action to move up. So coming to a place of peace. And with Two of Swords, we see the blue lotus as well, which is the medicine that we bring into this realm. It's also the DMT that activates within the pineal gland, because lotus works to do that if you're having lotus tea. But what we also see with Two of Swords is it's not just like, the swords that we see and feel. It's more about being blindfolded to what's going on. So yes, we can see what's going on, but it's not to kind of like get partaken or taken into the drama of it. So that's Libra energy ruled by Venus, and we have the moon too. So really kind of sense and feel into how to create your own inner peace in this kind of chaotic time. And Queen of Swords, there may be where you literally have to just rip the Band-Aid off and tell it like it is at the same time. So yeah, some really interesting energies navigating through this. It is about freedom and liberation. And I also feel some of this assessment that's coming up, or some of the energy that's being brought to the forefront too, it really is to liberate and to give us that sense of freedom from the old stuff. So it's a reassessment of what do we want.
Wow, that makes so much sense with what you were saying earlier, and also lots of sword energy, which is a lot of mental stuff I feel leaving. And I connect again with your spring cleaning, and that totally makes sense. Getting rid of like blocking patterns from the past, maybe. A lot of also thought. And I it's funny you say that, because I catch myself often yesterday and today into like looping mentally into kind of thoughts. And I'm like, when I catch myself doing that, I'm like, why am I spending so much energy and time looping over those thoughts? And I feel like that makes sense. Maybe it's because I need to release, and maybe I wasn't even conscious of holding those like thought patterns, and now I'm being more conscious of it. So a lot of releasing, mental release. And that makes sense also with this Mercury, because Mercury rules thoughts, but also the way we express ourselves, our words. So, and whenever it's about to go retrograde or direct, we say it's stationing. So it appears not to move in the sky, and there's a lot of emphasis there on Mercury at the moment. So we're really being guided to look at our thought patterns, how do we express ourselves, and even more because also we'll be moving into Virgo season tomorrow, and the ruler is Mercury, so very mental also energy there. And Meg, I'd like to ask you about what does that mean to you, this Virgo season? What are the themes that you think might be coming up in our personal lives, in the collective maybe? What do you think is going to be, let's say, a priority during Virgo season?
Well, I really feel like, I think we talked about it I can't remember if it was our last Astro Woo or Astro Decode. You were bringing up so eloquently how you felt like our physical bodies need to be focused on with this Mercury retrograde, because it's in its home sign of Virgo. And yes, Mercury is about communication and friendship and siblings and local community, but Virgo, which is one of the home signs of Mercury, is about our physical body. And Mercury has a lot to do with physical health and the truths of our physical health, how we can be physically healthy. So again, I feel like it's a really important time for us to step back, reassess where we're at in all areas of life. And before going forward into the autumn and the winter, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, like where are our physical bodies at? And it doesn't even matter, I think, where you are on the planet. I just feel like when we get into this eclipse season in October, from October to the spring, when we're going to have another really big eclipse season as well, there's going to be a lot going on, a lot trying to be thrown at us from certain directions, if you guys know what I'm talking about. And we need to make sure we're physically as strong as possible for that. So, and who knows what's going to happen with certain things. I don't want to be fear-based here, but we've got really intense astrology where what if we couldn't, go to the dentist for a couple weeks, or what if you couldn't just easily get a certain procedure or something like that. So Virgo is all about the details. Okay. So, and if you've been putting something off, it's time to go get that appointment done, I feel like. And I'd love to hear what you think, Julie, but I do feel like even though it's a Mercury retrograde, I think this is a good Mercury retrograde to go to the dentist, to get a checkup, to go to the doctor, to get a checkup. If there's something that you need, that needs to be done physically, get that done now. It's literally, I think, the perfect time to do that now, to really honor our bodies and do any kind of cleansing that needs to be done on our bodies, things that we've just been putting off. And something that I've really learned about Virgo in my astrological journey, being around a lot of Virgos like Julie and Sophie, and my sister Amy is a triple Virgo. I have a sister who's a triple Virgo.
Wow.
And yeah, lots of Virgos.
You survived.
Yeah. And I used to always think, I totally changed my perspective on Virgos, because I used to always think, wow, they're so annoying because everything needs to be perfect. And that's just because they're a Virgo. Like, why does everything have to be so detailed and perfect in a certain way? And why are they so critical? But after I had an epiphany, I'm very grateful to have had this at some point during my astrological journey, where the astrology gods, if you will, or whoever shared with me that Virgos are like that because it's the sign that rules being of service. Okay. So Virgos are not trying to be critical of you just because, or say, Julie, when's the last time you went to the dentist? Because I'm noticing this thing on your tooth and you haven't gotten that checked for a year. It's not because they're trying to be mean. It's because they're actually trying to be of service. And one of the ways of being of service is to take care of our physical bodies. It's not just, do you meditate? Have you seen your spirit guides yet? Have you ever done a shamanic journey? Do you take care of your physical body? Yes or no? Like, that's actually base root chakra stuff. And it may sound simple, but I think that's one of the gifts of Virgos, is they're very attentive to their physical health, their physical body, our routines that we need to have to be healthy. Like, we need to drink water every day. We need to brush our teeth every day. We need to do certain things. So I hope what I'm saying makes sense, but my perspective on Virgos has totally changed. And whenever I have someone with a Virgo placement say, talk to me in that Virgo way, I'm actually really appreciative of it, because I realize it's coming from you guys being of service and wanting to keep the energy clean. That's where it's coming from. So I feel like, long story long, with the retrogrades, it's
Meg, you're being choppy right now.
Oh, can you hear me? Hello?
Did we lose you? No.
Oh, no.
Meg, are you back?
I can hear you guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I think you're back.
You're a bit choppy.
Okay.
I think you're back, but you're a bit choppy.
Okay, sorry, guys.
Okay.
Is it better now?
I'll take the I'll talk a little bit while Meg is back. Okay, I think Meg, you're back. Okay, phew. Yeah, thank you so much for getting the good side of the Virgo, the service side to the beautiful Virgos, because I know it's kind of a hard mission to be there and point everything that doesn't work onto ourselves, onto everybody else's around. And it's kind of a difficult mission. And also, I feel like if you are a Virgo sun or you have Virgo placements, it's a very hard path to walk, because first you're going to be very not happy with and not content with the results you get for yourself. So you're going to be very perfectionist. So it takes a longer time to be okay with imperfection and not being 100% perfect all the time. And I remember when I was doing ballet when I was a young girl. I started at 3 years old. We would have ballet exams every year. and I would have 100% every year. And that one year, I don't know, I can't remember. I think I was a teenager, a little bit before my teenage year, and I got 99%, and I cried so much. And that's kind of a Virgo story that you're like, oh my God. And all the other parents thought like my mom was putting so much pressure on me, but she was like, no, that's her putting that pressure on herself. So anyways, just that little story to tell you that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. So once you learn how to deal with that and to accept that you're doing your best and it's going to be imperfect, also I feel like it makes you a bit easier on other people. And that's a hard path for sure to follow. And I wanted also to bring, I wanted to bridge today also the fact that the Virgo archetype, which is all about also work, daily routine, health, embodiment, clean eating, what else? Pets also is part of the Virgoan archetypes, cleaning, detoxing, perfecting, purifying. So it's going to be the season for all of that. So you're probably going to have to put a lot more emphasis in your life on that kind of detail. And some people with a lot of, let's say, air, fire, and what's the other one? Air, fire, water elements in their chart are probably going to be super annoyed at having to get down to earth with all those nitty-gritty details of the Virgo archetype. But I feel like there's a lot of spiritual value to that Virgo archetype, because in ancient astrology, they used to say that Virgo is the path of the initiate. So, and I saw a comment recently that was talking here. Thank you. Marsh is saying martial arts and dance are great ways to communicate with our bodies. Yes, indeed. And it made me remember how martial arts, if you ever saw a martial art movie, I can't remember which one I saw. I think it was Karate Kid. And the little guy was there. He wanted to be a big fighter, and he was super excited to have his master show him all the fancy tricks about martial arts. And the master was telling him, okay, go bring this water to the corner here. And like he was like focusing on daily chores that looked like it had nothing to do with martial arts. And the kid was like, why am I doing that? I want to fight. I want to be a fighter. And it's through that whole process that the master was saying, well, that's the way you're going to become a master of self, is by doing those little things that seem to have no purpose at all, and becoming like a sacred ritual, basically. So the path of the initiate with the Virgo archetype is to do all the things in your day-to-day life in a sacred, ritualistic type of way, and re-infuse that spiritual energy into taking care of your body, doing your work, doing your little day-to-day stuff, and having a healthy, balanced routine. And that's where you're going to find this spiritual enlightenment on earth, because we're not up here in the air, we're up here, down there on earth. So I thought that was very interesting, and I like to bring you, Sol, into this conversation. JC's saying wax on, wax off. Yeah. Yes. You remember that movie a lot better than I do. But yeah, exactly. So Mr. Miyagi. Yeah, Mr. Miyagi. So, okay. So I'd like to ask you, Sol, well, first of all, when in your spiritual path, spiritual journey, did you understand how important it was to take care of your nutrition, or of your body? And when did you understand that it was a part of your spiritual path, and not just, let's say, meditating and focusing on stuff that's coming up in the sky, but also like bringing this energy down to earth?
Yeah, so I was 17 when I started natural medicine. So I was finishing high school, as well as just starting to do kind of like bridging courses into college at the same time. So I was really lucky to get right into it from an early age. But I think with, food allergies and things as a young age too, for me, I really realized how important it was to take care of my body, and how on an intuitional level, our intuition will tell us when something is right for us. But yeah, I mean, at the moment, I'm about to start a green smoothie detox again. So more kind of a balance because we're in winter, but just including, like 1 or 2 green smoothies in a day to go with like other cooked food and things that I'm having. And I just feel that not only does it help amplify and purify the energy, thank you, Ben. And it's so nice to see Ben, Carla, and JC in here, as well as our other regulars of the Beyond Mystic family. Yeah. But yeah, with my journey in natural medicine too, I can't imagine raising kids without my background in natural medicine. Like I think the physical, because we are in the 3D, is the foundation. So as long as we're taking care of ourselves on a nutritional level, other things can kind of fall into place, add meditation and things on top of it. Thanks, Libby. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, definitely I have a background with the recipe book and things like that, talking all about, different things that we can include, because I'm not about excluding things or thinking we have to go on, this huge diet or anything like that. So if you're wanting to kind of upgrade your health and that during this Virgo season, just even incorporating a couple of new superfoods or some extra greens and things into your diet, really looking into your absorption, because I think that's also really key, that we can be taking all these things, but are we absorbing? So with the Virgo energy too, what you said before about like the initiate, the path of the initiate, that's really what I see in a lot of my readings. And it's so funny because it always comes up as the Hermit, and I call him the Merlin card. But I always see, because I've got quite a few Virgos around me too, my dad and my sister, and, some of my best friends, and they tend to sort of hold back a little bit. There's sometimes like that discrimination will be more projected onto self as well. And so they sort of stay in the cave, and we need them to come out to bring that lantern, to bring that light, to be that initiate that's connected to truth and connected to knowledge, because they really are connected to this pure energy that they channel and they bring through. And even like with some of the Vedic system and that, it's associated with palm readers and tarot readers and some of the mystical characters of astrology too. So I really look into the mystic as well as the health when it comes to Virgo.
I love that. And CB here saying, where can we get Solreta's cookbook? Is it out yet? Is it available online, the smoothie cookbook?
Yeah, so I've got to put the link into my website, but I've just popped it up on my Facebook feed at the moment because it literally came out yesterday. Luckily, I got it up before Mercury retrograde coming out, because it has been something that my clients and friends and family have put, requests in for years and years. When's this recipe book going to get done? But, with having kids and a busy business and life, it's been hard to sort of get everything going. But there's 33 smoothie recipes. My favorites are smoothie bowls, but there's chia pudding in there as well. And it really just is about incorporating these foods into our diets.
And it's funny, Sol, because I've been talking to a lot of people recently, a lot of friends, and they seem to have like all the same sort of group of issues with their bodies. And I've been telling them, trying to do juice cleanse or trying to integrate more smoothies in the morning. So that comes like at a perfect time for Virgo season. I love that.
Yeah. Thank you,
also,
JC,
so
for the link.
I know you're gonna have to leave us at the hour mark. So I'd like to ask you to pull some cards. How can we best benefit from this Mercury retrograde on a more, let's say, spiritual path? What would be the highest way to integrate that Mercury retrograde energy?
That's a great question. And I just saw my Queen of Swords before closing my eyes.
Oh.
Okay. So we've got 4 cards, and they're also guiding me to, there's another deck. Hold on a sec. They also want a card from the Hidden Worlds.
I love that.
So I'll just flip these 4 cards. We'll get straight into it because I know we don't have long. Okay, so we have the Priestess. I always call her the High Priestess. And for me, we see this bounty that's at her feet as well, which is a very kind of like Virgo energy bounty. For me, though, I do tend to see the High Priestess as kind of more a Sagittarian energy, where she's stopped kind of trying to put out all these spot fires, and she literally is embracing this higher frequency of who she is. So it kind of connects with what we were saying before about coming up in a few octaves. So definitely doing this to get through this retrograde season season. We do have Knight of Cups. For me, this is Archangel Michael energy and heart energy. And it's also, we have the peacock that represents the other realm. So there's a lot of like other realms trying to tap in with this Mercury retrograde that we're seeing. But we also see it's definitely about using this Cancerian nurturing, intuitional energy too. We do have Five of Swords. So just be careful of Spirit's giving me the word mind seeds. So where you were talking before, Julie, about, mental loops and things, and I literally wrote this into, I think it was in my recipe book, actually talking about, mindset and getting out of mental loops and things. But yeah, with Five of Swords, it's an energy of defeat. And what we see with this, it's Venus energy and Aquarius too. So we need to kind of search from within to get that higher information. And for me, this is also about just tapping into higher self to sort of stay above some of this retrograde energy. But we do see that it will birth a new beginning. And I'm going to pick with Ace of Wands, and they're just guiding me to the hidden worlds. So we have returning home, transition, life between lifetimes, and lovingly welcome. So we've got this beautiful energy here. And this just reminds me of the dreams that I was talking about before and tapping into these other realities. So I do feel we are being guided very strongly at the moment from these hidden or unseen realms and worlds. So maybe with this retrograde season, because we tend to joke about like hiding under the blanket or things to get through the retrograde, but maybe this is also about going within and also tapping into some of these other multidimensional realms that we're so connected with. And yeah, with High Priestess, I definitely feel that it is about vibrating above it, not get swept up or caught into conversation that's trying to attack or to, loop us in on an ego level too. I really feel that it's about recognizing it and going, do I want to engage in this? Or is this for my highest good or my best, best purpose?
Wow, that makes sense. Thank you so much, Sol. Yeah, so, and I feel like, I don't know why, but I always connect the High Priestess energy also with Virgo. So I know it's not like the traditional pairing, but I feel like it's very much connected. So it should be a very spiritual, I would say, Mercury retrograde if I get from your cards, because Mercury also will be at home in the sign of Virgo. So I feel like this High Priestess connecting with other realms, other timelines, can also be very strong. But first, we'll need to disconnect from those mental loops and those mental patterns that are trying to keep us really, let's say, down in the nitty-gritty details. So that makes a lot of sense. Meg, could you also pull cards maybe for this upcoming Mercury retrograde period? What do you see? What do you feel? How do you view that?
Definitely. I'll pull some astrology cards first. Wow. Okay. Always saying wow whenever we do the cards.
I love it.
They're always so accurate. So yeah, this is about our health and our bodies. We got the root card, and I can never pronounce this, Julie. Imam Kohli.
It's funny, Meg, because I think that card popped a couple of times in the live shows, and I wanted to tell you both, when we were talking about like standing strong for all the changes to come, I visualize in my mind's eye like a very strong tree, and that's been coming up like so many times lately for me. So to see that card, I think it's the third time you picked that card in the recent shows that we did. Mm-hmm. So I feel like there's a strong message there.
Yeah, and I'm happy that the Pisces card came up too, because that reminds me of a thought I had while you were both speaking, which is that Virgo is the opposite sign to Pisces, right? And Pisces rules spiritual realm and spirituality and being a spiritual being and being ascended and not having a body and, being your most spiritual self. And like you said, Julie, how we did that in our ancient times, in Atlantis, in Lemuria, in Egypt, in Greece, and other civilizations we've forgotten about, which will even come back, the knowledge of that, is being in some kind of practice and routine. That's Virgo. Our routines, our practices, our day-to-day. What do you do in the morning? What do you do in the afternoon? What do you do in the evening? And I feel like the powers that be that are falling away in power at the moment, if you guys know what I mean, they are trying everything to get us out of routines, to get us out of sacred practices, because that grounds us. And that grounds, like Soul was saying, the high vibration. And like Soul was saying, she's feeling that we're on this, correct me if I'm not saying this right, Soul, but you're feeling that we're on a timeline that's the lower of 3 timelines, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if all of us, and I'm speaking to myself too, I'm not trying to tell you guys off in an intense Scorpio way, because I need to do this too. If we all took like 5 minutes a day to visualize the grid of the earth together, connected to the sacred sites, connected to the crystals, to imagine our hearts connected, to feel how many light workers and star seeds are alive. That gives me chills saying that. It's way more than we're being told, Jupiter. And I was feeling this so strongly earlier. There's so much more going on than we are being told. There are way more of us than we are being told. And if we get into that Virgo, like being in a routine about our practices, we'll go to that higher timeline effortlessly in 2 seconds, in 1 second. It's not even a problem.
Yeah, definitely.
So this is going to sound really weird for me to say, but I feel like what's going on in Hawaii, there's a lot of different levels to that, but I feel like part of it is it's a wake-up call for us to step more into our light warriorship. And I know that's very intense for me to say, because I don't wish any harm or fires or any devastation on anywhere, but I feel like it's a little bit of some kind of wake-up call that wouldn't even have been allowed to have happened to our sacred homeland of Lemuria, unless Soul, I think you're right, that we are on this kind of lower of the 3 timelines. And we need to be doing more. And I know that's very intense for me to say, but we need to be doing more. And I'm also saying that to myself. We need to every single day be in that light warriorship of doing the light work, of visualizing the earth in her highest vibration, of taking care of our physical bodies, of really being in self-mastery. And I feel like we're going to be really, JC is saying, well, we are at war. We are at war. We are at war.
Officially.
And calling upon our guides, calling upon the Knights of the Round Table, calling upon, all of the, I'm having a brain fart, the warriors of the past, the sacred warriors, to stand with us and to give them permission to root us into our power. This retrograde, I feel like, is not a normal retrograde. This is extremely important for us to get into a practice. And I feel like a bunch of soldiers behind me, I'm going to start crying. I feel like they want us to get into a practice. It's very, very strong. So, and it doesn't have to be hard. It's not hard. So.
Wow, Meg, I see comments tearing up. Yes, that's beautiful, but also like I feel like it resonates so much because it makes sense also with what Soul was saying. This there's like a big spiritual portal allowing us to connect with different timelines, but in order to access it, we need to ground ourselves with and connect with the our ancestors of the land, the spiritual warriors, and that spiritual warrior energy, which also is tied to, believe it or not, Virgo. Wow, so powerful. Thank you, Meg, for that beautiful reading. I don't know if it's my connection.
It might be
my internet connection seems to be really bad. So I for like a few seconds, I lost all of you. And I was like, maybe it's like too much energy and we're not supposed to talk about that. So people are trying to shut us off. I don't know. I was like, okay, that's kind of important. Anytime like we've been saying like super important stuff, we've been like shut off from the stream. I don't know why. Meg, you wanted to add something?
Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but if I could just say one more thing is I notice, and I'm really feeling it in my throat chakra, and I'm happy I got this new turquoise necklace when I was in New Orleans last week to help me with I was feeling really drawn to the blue crystals. And I was like, I wonder why that is. I'm going to have to say something. And then in the past few days, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen, there's been this stuff coming up from the past that we thought we dealt with about certain things that we were under for a long time. And it's like possibly coming back. And my inner child got very scared because it's like I lost a lot when I spoke up in 2020 and 2021. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel tired. There's part of me that feels tired of it. Like I don't want to deal with it anymore, you know? And I feel like we have to keep dealing with it. We have to keep being strong. And there was a part of me, my Scorpio side, when that news was coming out the other day about possible mandates coming out, I'll just say that word once, you know, my Scorpio side was like, well, you know, people can figure it out on themselves. I'm not going to go hard on my social media like I did last time, because I got like so much coming at me every single day. And as I'm sure a lot of that of us got that. But then Spirit was like, no, 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 you have to soak up the summer energies. You need to say in your Beyond Astros for people to be strong, because everyone needs to stand up, and we have to not comply with this, and we have to say no, or else we'll go into even a lower timeline, it feels like.
Yeah, I agree so much. And I want to say also that I know it was hard for you and for all of us to get all the attacks from standing up for what we believe in, but that's what allowed us to all meet together.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's how powerful it is to be your authentic self and to have your authentic voice out there. So I want to thank you and all of you. And I know, Sol, you have to leave us. Thank you so much for your beautiful wisdom. And I'll re-invite you because we love to have you on the show, and we'll try to make it work. So thank you so much, Sol.
Chatting with you both. And
I love you. Sending you so much love and so much beautiful blessings for your birthday.
Thank you, girls. Oh, it was so much fun. Thank you for having me, and so lovely to see family in the chat as well. Have a beautiful evening.
You too. Bye, Sol.
Thank you. Love you, girls.
Bye. Love you. And also, I want to remind everybody that I wanted to do that while she was here, but of course, you can book also with Sol on MaisonJupiter.com, and there's 2 appointments available with the beautiful Solreta. Both are 1 hour long. One is the Starseed reading, Origins and Mission, where she goes into your aura drawing, what she gets psychically for your, let's say, origins. What kind of starseed are you? And also we have the mystical oracle reading, which is also comes with the aura drawing, but this one is more focused on your questions, more of a follow-up reading type of product. So both are available right now on the website on MaisonJupiter.com. Don't forget to enter Beyond Mystic when booking. And also, I know the bookings now are in the beginning of next year, so don't despair. It's quite worth it. Meg, back to you. Yes. Wow. That was such a profound conversation, and that was my internet. People are saying that I'm choppy. So. Yeah. So okay, good, because you were talking, and I was like, oh no, I'm losing her. Wow. And I think also for the cards that I pick for myself, because every month I used to do my zodiac wheel with all the tarot cards. I think I got a lot of that, let's say, spiritual warrior routine and spiritual practices that I needed to be more consistent with. And I think I told JC also, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? And I told him, I got the message that we need to start back our meditation practice on the daily. So, wow, that was such a strong message, Meg. I really love it. And like unusual for Virgo, but it's like it resonates so much. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I just pulled some quick Lenormand cards, also how we can deal with this retrograde city. And I literally got the 3 most positive Lenormand cards all together. So I don't know. I don't think I've ever gotten that. And I pull these like every single day. So the fish, which is like prosperity, abundance, joy, things flowing effortlessly. The sun, which is the light, the sun, source, consciousness, and the stars, our star family and divine protection and inspiration. So I feel like, yes, we do have a light warrior job to do here, but it is not allowed for the earth to go down. It's not allowed. It's not happening. So even if we were to go down a really bad path, our star family, ancestors, universe, everyone would step into our free will zone and would assist. I feel like we're not going to get to that point, but there's just a message coming through of, don't worry, everybody, we're on the right track. It's a bumpy road, but we're on the right track and we're totally supported, and it's going to be all good.
And you're right. Like every time you get those Lenormand cards out, I'm like, oh no, this is gonna be so harsh because those cards don't lie, man. They're pretty straight up. So that's really good. And also that Mercury retrograde being in the sign of Virgo can be quite positive, let's be honest, because it's in its home sign and also in its exaltation sign at the same time. So if you flow with this energy in the same, let's say, current with the energies of Mercury retrograde, so review, take this time to reperfect stuff from the past. Take this time to connect spiritually, to have a good routine, and also this good balance between Virgo and Pisces, which is Pisces, the spiritual realm, the dream realm even. So try to have a good balance between those two. And I feel like this Mercury retrograde could be phenomenal. And it's crazy because I pulled cards for myself yesterday, and I kind of had that I was trying to help by my guides to be ready for the big changes that were about to come, and that those changes were about to come in a really fast way. So it's crazy because every time we have a Mercury retrograde, it's kind of, I expect that the world is going to be slowing down, but it's usually the opposite thing that happens. It goes pretty fast, and you're like, you have to make really quick decisions sometime, and things are moving, and you're like, I didn't expect this to. So I feel like it's not that things are going to slow down, to the contrary, but you have to learn how to be flexible. One of the big Mercury retrograde word here, flexible. What about you, Meg? Like, do you feel like it's usually slowing down or speeding up? How do you feel about this Mercury retrograde energy?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's usually a slowing down. It's usually a funky energy, but I think because Mars is going to be direct, Mars is going to be the only personal planet direct, and Mars is what we call in astrology the dispositor of the North Node right now. So Mars is the ruler of the sign of the North Node. Mars is action, Mars is energy, Mars is things moving ahead. So it's really kind of trippy how there's going to be 7 planets retrograde, I think, including Chiron, if we want to include the asteroid Chiron. But Mars is moving fast. If you look at the speed of Mars, Mars is woo. And that's the plan of action and war and energy and divine masculine. So some things that we may be wanting to create may feel like they're going slow, but there's things happening that we have to deal with that I think are going really fast, if that makes sense.
That makes total sense. It's a beautiful way to express it. So stuff coming out from left field happening really fast, but the thing that you expect to go fast usually goes slower. So it's kind of a weird type of paradoxical situation. And also, I just wanted to say that if you know your birth chart, try to look at what house Mercury rules in your birth chart. So there's going to be 2 houses, one that is Virgo, the other one is Gemini. So for instance, in my chart, Mercury rules my 2nd house of finances and my 11th house of big plans, of social networks, friends. So those 2 houses are going to be emphasized by the Mercury retrograde. So it's funny because I just closed I don't know how to say that in English, but it's probably like a financial year or something with my business. So I had to provide my accountant with like a bunch of financial papers. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm going to have to probably review all those documents once the retrograde is on. But it's okay, since I'm going to be expecting that. So it's probably going to be the case. And then the 11th house, so maybe friends from the past can come back, or maybe I'll have to review my long-term goals. Who knows? What about you, Meg? What house are ruled in your birth chart by Mercury? What do you expect for you?
Yeah, my 2nd house, and I think my 6th house as well, if I'm not mistaken. My 5th, 6th house, 2nd house and 5th, 6th house. So yeah, I have to make some big financial decisions, some big day-to-day decisions, and I'm going to have to move fast with, this is going to be an intense one for me with it being in my Virgo house. So having to do some things that sometimes my Scorpio sun doesn't like to deal with the practical stuff. I feel like that's a really underrated. I don't know if any of you Scorpios are like that. My Scorpio side does not like to deal with practical stuff and the laws and the regulations of things. But you Virgos help to bring that in and get me to do all that stuff. So I feel like, this Mercury retrograde will be good for me to get grounded, help me make some big decisions that Jens and I are going to have to make. So, yeah.
Big things popping.
Big things, yeah.
I love that. And if you'd like to know what is ruled by Mercury in your birth chart, if you'd like to start your astrological journey, you can do so with the personalized birth chart that's available on MaisonJupiter.com. So it's basically a digital art print of your own birth chart in the color of your choice. And it comes also with a 15 to 20 pages report explaining your natal placement and most important alignments in your birth chart. So I feel like it's a great starting point if you'd like to analyze, and every time we do those shows, look at the houses, look at what's going to be activated with the current astrology. So what houses are going to be activated for you. And also, of course, if you would like to book also with the beautiful Meg Moonbeam right here for a one-on-one consultation. So of course, she's going to be able to explain a lot of your birth chart and personalize all of those interpretations that we're doing. So we got the 1 hour birth chart astrology reading and also the 1 year personal forecast dealing with the transits for the year ahead. Wow. Okay. And also don't forget to use Beyond Mystic in one word to make sure you get the 10% off discount from your next booking with the beautiful Meg. Thank you, Lakeside Laura, saying love my birth chart, very thorough and a work of art. Thank you so much, Lakeside Laura. Appreciate it. Wow. I feel like that was like a fast moving show. Lots to discuss, wonderful conversations. Robin is saying, I'm a Virgo and my Mercury is in Virgo. Yes, me too. I feel you, Robin. So lots of Virgo energy. So you'll be probably feeling this Mercury retrograde quite a lot, but that can be very positive for all Virgo placement. Just keep in mind that you're probably going to have to review stuff from the past and take your time into perfecting things. So if you got, like, say, projects on the way, make sure you get into the nitty-gritty details before you launch any kind of projects or new idea. Okay, and would you have to have like a last words of guidance? What would you like to share with us, Meg, for it can be around any type of subject? What are you feeling people from the audience needs to know before we see each other? I was going to say next week, but no, we're going to see each other this Thursday. And I'm going to put out this. What would you like to share with us?
I would say try to take the time to look at your birth chart. I know for some of you out there, astrology can be a little bit more challenging, but just look up the symbol for Virgo in astrology. You can look that up online and look at where you have that symbol in your birth chart, in the outer rim of your birth chart, where we have our chart rulers. So you're going to see at the beginning of each of your houses of your birth chart, there's going to be a symbol for one of the signs, and see that that's an area of life, that's a house, or if you have any planets in that sign of Virgo getting activated with this Mercury retrograde, and it's going to help you to navigate the energies of this Mercury retrograde. So yeah, thank you, Julie. That helps.
So I don't know if you guys can see, but it's a little M with an angel wing at the end. So not to confuse with the Scorpio, which there's a sting at the end, but the Virgo is a angel wing.
Yes, perfect. And yeah, thank you, Julie. Look at where that is. And that's going to be a really highlighted area for the next few weeks with this Mercury retrograde. And Stella in the chat is saying, when is the astrology course starting? I've been getting a lot of questions about that.
Well, it's I have a little hint for you. It's during Virgo season, I think. Is it?
Yes.
Yes, it's at the end of Virgo season.
Season.
So September, we'll be giving you some more details, but it's going to be at the end of Virgo season because we're waiting after the retrograde period to make sure that everything goes well for the launch. Love that.
I just want to say a thank you from me, and I think everyone would agree with me, for the amazing work that you do as a Virgo astrologer in the way that you share the information, because I don't know when the last time I maybe told you this was, but I'm constantly hearing from people, clients, when I do the consultations, people in our community, how much they love the way that you, in your Virgo kind of way, share the astrology with your beautiful slides, and you make it very understandable for people through your Virgo organization skills, if that makes sense. So I feel like just honoring your beautiful Virgo energy, and Sophie's Virgo energy as well. Of course, you guys are magical Virgos, and that it is very magical to be a Virgo. I agree with you. It is very spiritual to be a Virgo. Like you were saying, that higher path of the initiate. And we need to be grounded. We need to have routines. And we have a lot to learn from Virgos, and they do a lot that I don't think gets recognized. And I think, Julie, you give so much, and it's so beautiful and helps so many people. So I just want to say thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Meg. I really appreciate that. Sometimes I'm like, I get on my own nerves with being like so perfectionist with everything. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I'm happy if I can help with, let's say, making it clear, making the information clear, because that's what Virgo do. Like, we bring the complex information down to practical stuff that you can understand. Julie's amazing at making this content accessible to everyone. Oh, thank you so much, JC. Wow, you guys are gonna make me cry tonight. I wasn't expecting that. That's such a beautiful early birthday gift. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And we're gonna see each other in just 2 days, because Meg and I are going to be doing this beautiful War Correspondence show with Janine and JC, of course. So that's going to be this Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, and that's on the Beyond Mystic Rumble channel. So don't miss that episode. I think it's going to be a great one. And yeah, wow, that was such a JC saying, "Don't cry." No, I won't. Cassandra saying, "Thank you, Julie, and thank you, Meg." And I want to say, like, I think we're like such a good combination of astrologers, Meg, because sometimes I bring the more practical stuff, but you bring the more, let's say, I don't want to say emotional. That's not the word I want to get, but like the psychic downloads about all the zodiac sign, about all the astrological alignments. And I heard that ancient astrologers say that Scorpio was the intuitive astrologer, whereas Aquarius and Virgo are the more, let's say, pragmatic astrologers. So I feel like it's a beautiful combination, and I feel like I'm very grateful to have you in my life and to be able to work with you. Thank you so much.
I'm very grateful too.
Wow. So thank you, everybody, for spending this hour and 17 minutes with us. We really appreciate you. Sending you much love. And JC saying, whoop, I missed a comment. Match made in heaven. Meg Julie Astro Decode is the bomb. Yes, go watch our latest Astro Decode. I think we did a great job talking about the wealthiest part of your chart and how to take the advantage of that wealth generator in your birth chart. So that's on the Maison Jupiter channel. Thank you, JC. Love you, everybody. Sending you much love. And until Thursday, we will see you very soon. Love you, everybody. Au revoir.
Love you guys. Bye.